Welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. I know this may be a video that for a while, so here it is. And what really caused me to make this video is that I saw in the live chat recently that there were some comments saying that I look angry and am I the narcissist? Now this could just be an uneducated troll, because what you've got to understand is that, yes, victims are going to be angry. Of course they are. I mean, just think about it rationally. If someone's been abused for such a long time, they've been mistreated, they've been hurt, cheated on, lied to, stolen from, had people turned against them, anyone would be angry about that. They likely wouldn't be calm. They would be seeking a sense of resolve. So I don't know if that was just an uneducated troll, but regardless, I will say that it's not just going to be some innocent victim who has no emotions and just accepts anything that's done to them. It just doesn't work that way. Victims are going to be angry, of course. And I know it's I'm assuming they were trolls, but they also pointed out that I'm the narcissist then. But it was interesting because I watched my videos back, and to me, it appeared as though I actually had quite a calm demeanor. I didn't seem angry at all. But what I will say is that if sometimes I do seem quite rushed, quite forced, if sometimes my thoughts are a bit all over the place or my words are a bit jumbled up, you've got to understand that not only are there trolls in the live chat, but also I'm followed by groups of narcissists and psychopaths in real life as well, wherever I go. And they know the times when I go live and when I'm making certain videos. So they're already waiting for me. And that's why you will often hear a lot of car horns, the sirens. I mean, you've probably never heard so many sirens before, other than when you're watching my live videos or even my pre-recorded videos. It's just constant sirens all the time. And also, like as an example, today when I went down to pick up my food, the moment I walked out the door, there was just these very loud noises, the banging, and just arms waving around everywhere. I mean, I get these groups of narcissists and psychopaths coming up to me, coming very close to me. And it's almost like they're about to assault me. They just wave their hands right in front of my face. And it's to provoke fear. Because, of course, I mean, normal people like us, we're not used to having groups of mentally ill people coming after us. So we're worried about what they're going to do to us. They're going to harm us. So it instills fear in the target. It destabilizes you. It puts you in fight or flight. And they may associate it to something else. They may see it as though that's just your natural character, is to be in that state. And they like it. They like that kind of thing because it makes it easier for them to control you. But actually, of course, that's not your natural state. It's because you're being provoked. You're not going to be yourself around narcissists and psychopaths. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to be yourself around them. And I made a video about this years ago. You're never going to be yourself around them because they've got hidden motives and agendas, and you can just sense it. They're the predator and we're the prey. So it's like we have this, just like they have a predatory sense, we also have a sense built in to detect when we are dealing with predators. My body alerts me straight away when I'm around predators. I get a tightness in my throat, in my chest area, and it almost like changes my voice a bit. It makes my voice a bit more high pitched. And it's always done that from the very beginning of my channel. This is the effect that it will have on you, because it instills fear in the target. You just want to protect yourself and get to safety. So don't listen to the trolls. You have to remember these are uneducated trolls. So don't let them get to you. Don't let them make you think anything different, because they're just going to misinform you. They don't understand how personality disorders work and how these types of people affect victims. Many of these trolls in the live chat, these are just amateurs. And that's why they react in very immature ways. Because for me, I mean, to put comments like that, to say that someone is angry, and then to call them a narcissist just because they're angry, it just doesn't make any sense. For myself, I would be thinking, because I'm an empathic and compassionate person, the first thought that would pop in my head is, what's going on with that person? Why are they angry? And I would dissociate myself from that, unless this is someone who I'm with all the time. Then maybe it could have something to do with me. But if I've never met them before, then clearly it's something to do with them. It's something that happened in their past, which has nothing to do with me. Someone else must have done something to them. So people need to think rationally and logically. Use discernment. Don't just make uneducated guesses. Actually do the research. Think about things deeply. Because that's how narcissists like to be. They want everything to be permeable, unclear, to where things are confusing, complex. It lacks order, it lacks boundaries. So nobody knows who's who, what's going on. That to be. They don't want everything to be normal, natural, stable, because that puts them at a disadvantage. Because if there was just in a natural environment where everything was just going naturally as it should be, they would all be exposed immediately. They're not exposed because they go under the radar and they push your buttons to make you look crazy. So then it's confusing. It's difficult for people to tell what's going on. But just know that, yes, I am not only stalked by trolls in the live chat, but also in real life as well. I'm followed around by narcissists and psychopaths every day, groups of them. And typically they come on to me just before I do a video, and they'll make like loud banging noises. They'll just wave their hands in my face. And if I say anything about it to them, or even if I put my arm up and just try to protect myself, then they say that I'm crazy. I remember that one time that happened in Malaysia. Some guy had his arm up to me right in my face as he was walking past me, and all I did was just put my arm up to protect my face. And then he, all of a sudden, started crying like a grown man. It's like he had tears coming down his eyes, and he was on the phone to the police. It's very strange. But of course, that's what narcissists do. They will push and provoke you to get a reaction out of you, even if it's just in self-defense. And they will then label you as the perpetrator. This is why they like to have power and control over people and situations, so that things can go the way that they wanted to go. Because otherwise, if everything's uncontrolled, it threatens to expose them. Just nature, the natural course of things, exposes these predators. And that's why they don't want things to be natural. But yes, 105 live viewers, give it a thumbs up if you're finding this helpful so far. Just wanted to share my personal experience. Because this is what it's like when you're dealing with these predators. Remember, they're mentally ill, they have a disorder. But they're also in denial. They don't want to accept that they have a serious problem. So then their process in their minds is, how do they feel like they don't have a problem? Because it's all in reference. It's in reference to other people and situations. That's what causes them to become self-aware of their problems. And, as you know, I'm a very calm person. I'm a very calm, composed person, naturally. So by them seeing me, it stirs up all sorts of emotions in them. It makes them reflect on their disorder, on how crazy they are in the mind. And then that's why they seek to target people like us. As calm, very composed. It makes them feel like they have a problem. So then they want to put that onto you. That's why then they go to push and provoke you, destabilize you, so that you then feel like you have a problem now. You feel irritable. You feel anxious. You don't feel like yourself. And then they can calm down because it's in a reference to you. And that's why they want to make you look and feel crazy. This is why. And if you don't believe it, and you're still confident, you're still self-assured, and you are still involved with other people, you're still having associations, you're still having friends, you're still going out, then they, of course, still feel like they have a problem because you're still functioning, you're still operating as a normal human being, as you should be. So then they've got to go and turn other people against you. They've got to provoke you and just stir up drama and chaos, divide and conquer, to make everyone think that it's you. And this is how we end up in a world where narcissists and psychopaths are just blending in with everyone. They're all around us. This is how this has happened, because they divide and conquer. They triangulate people. And that's how they manage to squeeze into places where they shouldn't be. They shouldn't even be there. They shouldn't be anywhere near us. They shouldn't be walking on the streets. These people should be locked up. Or they should be in a mental institution. Because they're causing problems wherever they go. They're causing disorder. They're harming people. They're making people worse, not better. And this is why things are going the way that they are in society. Because there's people like this everywhere doing this to people, harming them, driving them insane. And then those people get into trouble. Those people lose their jobs and all of their friends. Because there's people like this everywhere in the world today. There's crazy people like this. And this is how people like us, we're the ones who get excluded from families or groups, social circles. We're the ones who get in trouble with our work, we get fired from our jobs. But then what you may not know is that we could be different to all of those people. They might all be like that. They might all be the same. So this is why they do what they do, because they feel crazy inside and they're very paranoid. They're terrified deep down that other people may see it, that other people may become aware of it, of how crazy they are inside. And before any of you think that maybe it's you, maybe you're the narcissist, because you may feel that way. You may feel like you feel crazy inside. You feel unstable and you're paranoid. You're worried that other people may become aware of that. And maybe that's why you don't go out, and that's why you may feel crazy. That's why you may be worried that you look crazy to other people. It's because of what they put in you. A psychologist, Ross Rosenberg, has mentioned it in his video. It's kind of like they're injecting you with a poison when they're pushing and provoking you. Or when you get in the mud with them, when you wrestle with them, when you feed into the drama. And then you become like them while they walk off feeling like you. They dump their characteristics into you and they steal yours. And that's how they want it to be, because they do not like themselves. But of course they don't like themselves. No one would like themselves if they have a disorder. But then that's the mistake that we make. After they do what they do to us, we don't like ourselves. But you shouldn't think that way. You should separate it from you and realize you do like yourself. You like yourself perfectly fine before you got around them. You don't like what they put in you that belongs to them. And just think about it. If you just affects everything that they did to you, if you got rid of all of it, if it never affected you, and then it's just you, it's just everything that you can produce, everything that you can create, would you like yourself then? I'm sure many of you would, just as you did before. It's only because they're around you, because of their sickness, because there's nothing likable about them. So don't get it twisted. Recognize the difference. Yes, unfortunately, as victims of narcissistic abuse, we may feel crazy. And we may look crazy to other people, because that's the whole point. That's what they're intended to do. Everything they do, from the moment that you catch on, from the moment that you realize that it's them and not you, the moment you begin to become suspicious about them, you start to see through them. That very moment when you catch on, you start to question things, you start to figure things out. After you've been blamed all of that time, you start to think, hold on a minute, benefit in them doing that. This is what they do. Because they don't want you to be you. You being you makes them look bad. It makes them look like absolute fools. It makes them look crazy. And that's why they don't want you to be you. That's why they have to intervene. They have to meddle around with everything. They have to change things about you, provoke you, destabilize you. This is why. This is why they have to get to you. And not because they're trying to promote and encourage you, develop you. They're not trying to do that. They're trying to break you down. They're trying to destabilize you, pick you apart, dissect you. They're not trying to make anything better for you or for anyone. Because if they were trying to make anything better for anyone, they would realize that they have a problem, that they have a sickness, and then they would take themselves out of it and get help. If we're talking about a normal person who maybe doesn't have a problem, because we all have problems sometimes. So if we're just talking about someone who has a problem, but they're not mentally ill, the first thing they're going to do is tell someone. They're going to seek help. But they don't. They hide it. They mask it. And because they deny it, then they're just looking for problems in everyone else. Or they're just imagining it. They're creating it. Or exaggerating it. Blowing it out of proportion. Because they're mentally ill. They have a serious problem in themselves that they don't want to confront or accept. And this is why, by the end of it, then they go to the discrediting. Because they don't want anyone to take you seriously. They don't want anyone to believe you, because if people believe you, if people view you as credible, then that looks bad on them. Because there is something wrong with them, and deep down they know it. They know there's something wrong with them. And they know that you are a witness to that. They know that you've seen things from them. So of course they don't want anyone to believe in you. And I know there's a ton of trolls coming in. It's mad how they, even with multiple accounts, they say the same things. And sometimes even months or even a year apart on different accounts, they still have the same comments. Because as I said, it's it's a network of narcissists and psychopaths. And of course, when you're a part of a network of abusers, you're going to feel like something's wrong with you. If you're doing things outside of society, you're breaking laws, you're going to feel like something's seriously wrong with you for that. And this is why they're always trying to provoke and point the finger at people. This is why they're always trying to bombard you, hound you. Because they just do not want to be themselves. They want you to be them. They feel like it's unfair for them. And they don't want to do anything about it. It's too much work for them. So then the process in their minds is like, how about you be me and I'll be you? How about I put what I've got in you, and I take out of you what I want, what will make me feel better and look better. That's how they think. And so that's exactly what they do. And they will try any way to get in your head, so that they can extract the energy and the characteristics from you. And this is real psychological theory. There have been many studies about this. They want to pull it out of you, everything that's good about you, put it into them, so that they can walk off feeling better about themselves and looking more credible in front of everyone else. They really just want to be you. And I know there's a ton of trolls coming in. I'm hiding all of them. The amount of trolls in this one is pretty crazy. But yeah, Central 87 says it's the bare minimum, gang stalkers are stalking, which is a crime. Yes, these gang stalkers, these networks of stalkers, they are all criminals. They're all narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. They're breaking the law. They do not fit in society. They do not belong in society. And this is why they target people who are unaware, people who are not a part of them. Because it's kind of like they're not with us, they're not a part of us. They're on the outside, looking in. They're outsiders. Of course they're outsiders because they're involved in all sorts of schemes, deception. They're deceiving people. And they wear a mask to fit in society. And they get around people like us to steal our characteristics so that they seem more believable. And then they dump their characteristics into us. And also they come into your life, they steal from you, they rob you, they drain you, not only energetically, but also emotionally, financially. And so by the end of it, I mean, you could have been a really disciplined, hard-working person. You could have been a highly functional member of society who's very productive. They will make you look like a bum. They will make it look like there's something seriously wrong with you, as though you just can't function in society. Because that's what they're really like, and that's why they need so much supply, so many targets, who they can extract this from. They can extract your characteristics which help you to function and to perform well in society. They extract that from you, as well as money and resources, and from a bunch of other people as well, so that they can look normal. They can look successful, as though they can thrive in a community. But really they can't. They're no good for themselves. They're unproductive. They can't produce anything good. And also they ruin people's lives because they have to leech off you in order to appear as someone who is good for the communities that we live in. And yeah, this is what these types of people are trying to do. And sadly, of course, they're going to target people who have the strongest characteristics, the people who are the most successful, because those are going to be the people who have the most to give, the most resources, the strongest characteristics. And this is why when you look around in the world today, most people in positions of power, most successful people are narcissists. While so many of us, I mean, we may have been so good for society, so productive. We may have been given helping so many people, and all because of one selfish person who got involved with you, who only cared about themselves and just wanted to steal from you. Because of that person, and who then had to turn everyone against you and discredit you. So many people lose out on you. This world loses out on you. And you could have done so much for people. But it's all because of one desperate, selfish person. And this is what they're like. It's messed up, but this is what it is. They make good, hard-working, disciplined, successful people look and feel crazy. And yet we wonder why the world is the way it is today. Because these people are not getting support. They're not getting the encouragement that they need to thrive. And As for these narcissists, they're not getting the help that they need. Because they need mental health support. And by the end of it, so do we, because we've been through so much with them. I mean, when you're around these types of people, it's going to rub off on you. Whatever they naturally are, that's going to become you. You're going to become a bum just like them. You're going to go down in life. You're going to lose financially, mentally. It's going to affect every aspect of your life because you're around them. But watch, the moment you get away from them, you will begin to thrive. And that's why they come back. Because they do not want you to be you. And they do not want to be themselves. They have a disorder. And it's all about superficial things. It's all about what's on the surface. Their image and your image. It's all about how you appear to people and how you see yourself. Because all they care about is their image. They have an arrested emotional development. In their childhood, they were made to believe that they're not good enough by their parents. So they abandoned their true self and created a false self. And that's why it's all about the image. It's all about how they look to other people. Never mind what they're doing behind the scenes. Because most of what they're doing is manipulating people, deceiving them, stealing from them. They're doing all these things. Secretly, they are horrible people. And then people like us, we get targeted by those very people. People like us who they will devalue, degrade, discredit. I mean, even myself, I've had a bunch of narcissists after me, discrediting me, devaluing me. I've been working every day, 12 to 15 hours a day for the past 7 years. I've made 4,500 videos. I've got over 50 million views. I've changed so many people's lives around the world. And that's just for you to know that behind the scenes, I'm always putting in the work. I'm always doing what I need to do. But that's not to say for the narcissist, because the whole point is that you cannot please them. They're never going to be happy with you. You can move mountains, you can go to the ends of the earth. It's not going to make a difference. The problem is, it's not that you're no good or you're not good enough for them. You're too good. You're so good that you're exposing them. You're making them look bad. And that's the problem. And that's why they'll always have some clever remark for whatever you accomplish, whatever you do, however you try to prove yourself to them, when they're devaluing you and discrediting you, they'll always have something else to say. So as an example, I say that I've been working every day, 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 7 years. An narcissist would say to me, yeah, but you probably enjoy your work. Or they would say, why are you bragging about it? Maybe you're the narcissist for talking about it. Or they might say, everyone works. You get paid to do it. They would always come up with something else. What they're not going to do is validate you or agree with you, because of their disorder. And because of how they're using you, they're stealing your characteristics from you, as well as your money as well, your resources. Because they're trying to become you. They don't want you to become more of you. They want to become more of you. And in order for them to become more of you, you have to become less of you. And there's no getting through to them. There's no explaining to them or trying to get them to understand. They don't want to understand. At some level, yes, they know. They get it. They know exactly what's going on. They know there's something wrong with them. They know why they're doing everything they do. But they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to conceal it, mask it, disguise it. Pretend like that's not really happening. Pretend as though it's just something wrong with you. You're not good enough, or you're bad. You did something wrong. There's different layers to it. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how good you try to be. You're never going to be good enough for them, because then if you were good enough, then the light shines on them. It's like, all right, you're good, but what about them? What are they doing? What are they doing for you? You're good enough for them, but are they good enough for you? And you're going to start to question that. That's where they keep you running on the hamster wheel, where you're just giving your characteristics, your money to them, everything they need, so that they look and feel like you. And that's where they want to keep that going, because that's their supply. They don't ever want that to stop. And this is why they have to make you look and feel crazy, so that you'll keep doing and giving for them. And also so they can isolate you and you don't have anyone, so that they can just keep you all to themselves, and you'll just keep giving the characteristics and money to them. You'll keep fueling them. Or it may also just be to destroy you, because it's like a child playing with a toy, and the other child wants the toy, but the child who owns it won't let them have it. So then the other child just destroys the toy so that no one can have it. It's just that selfish, childish mentality. But again, don't ever listen to these trolls. Don't listen to what they say, because they are uneducated. They don't know what they're talking about. I mean, that's the whole point, is that these narcissists will steal your characteristics. They will pretend to be you. So all of these trolls that are coming in the live chats, you may not notice it, you may not be aware of it, they may not even reveal it in their comments, but they're coming into this live chat thinking that they're me, or that they're one of you, an abuse survivor. That's the mindset that they need to have. Because otherwise, if they're themselves, then they're going to feel like they have a serious problem. And then you're going to notice it in them. And that's why they provoke you. They try to get you angry, because then you can act it out for them. You can be them. Because they don't want to be themselves. I'm still hiding these trolls. But yeah, what I can say is, those of you who do get provoked and you may feel angry, you may want revenge. There's no reason to get revenge, because everything they're doing is only going to hurt them. I mean, just think about it. What are they doing when they're doing these things to you? What is the purpose of it? When they're provoking you, when they're stealing your characteristics, your money, your possessions, what is all of this for? It's to validate the false image. It's to fuel their disorder. So that's all they're doing, is fueling their mental illness, their personality disorder, which is not going to lead to peace. It's not going to lead to happiness. It's going to lead to even more internal chaos and confusion in their minds. It's going to make them even more mentally ill. They're just feeding their addiction. So it doesn't help them. What would help them is if they were starved of supply. Then they could begin to recover. So everything that they do to all of you, they're hurting themselves far more than they're hurting you. They're fueling their own mental illness, their own disorder. Everything they do is try to get your attention, to provoke you to react. All of it is fueling their own disorder. If they're not helping you, if they're not encouraging and supporting you, they're not supporting themselves. It's as simple as that. What they do to you, they do to themselves. And actually, it comes back tenfold. It's their karma. And the system is set up in this very specific way for a reason. There's sirens all day here. I must hear about maybe 100 sirens a day, every day. And all of the car horns. There's just no order here. And just look at the road, look at that lane. All of the cars struggling to get in the lane. They need to put something else there other than just like a merged lane. Because just think about the noise all of these people have to hear in all of these condominiums. And even the people who can't hear it, that doesn't mean that it's good. If you don't even notice all this noise, I mean, just because something, you're not aware of something affecting you, it doesn't mean it's not still affecting you. I mean, just like sociopaths, they're often in groups together. Just because they're unaffected by each other's disorder, it doesn't mean it's healthy for them. But yeah. They're just very sick, messed up people. These narcissists. And they will make you look like the crazy one. They will make you feel crazy. They will make you feel like something is wrong with you. You know when you're dealing with a narcissist, because by the end of it, they will have you questioning that you're the narcissist. And you're the one who did everything you could to help them. You went to the ends of the earth, you moved mountains. And yet they turn around and call you the narcissist. They make it out like you're the problem. But this is the thing, this is the funny thing about it. The better you were, the more you did for them. The more that you could just guarantee that they're going to turn around and call you the narcissist at the end. Because then you become the greatest threat to them, to exposing them. Because then it's like, hold on, if you were this great, if you were this wonderful, and you did all of this stuff for them, then why have they still got a problem? Or how could you be so good at the beginning and then all of these things happen to you later on? That's where they have to turn it around on you. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. How could you not make them better? How could you not help them? But don't question yourself. Don't think that you're not good enough. Remember, they have a mental illness. They have a serious problem. So it doesn't matter what you do for them externally in the physical world. It doesn't matter what you do, because that problem still exists in their minds. It's still their mental health. And this is why we talk about going on contact and healing. Because the first thing you've got to do once you get out of it is you've got to come back to yourself. You've got to focus on your own mental health, because now you've been involved with a mentally ill person who, of course, has had an effect on you. And that's why we talk about healing. But the moment you begin to heal, they will come back, because they want everyone to be like them. Millie Small Kitcho says, how are you supposed to react constructively to a friend stealing from you and making you feel like nothing? Well, for a start, I mean, if someone steals from you, that person is not your friend. That person is an enemy. That person is not someone who means you well. And I mean, we do have laws. We have the police for a reason, to protect us. So what I recommend is to file reports against this person who was once your friend. I mean, they shouldn't be your friend now that you become aware that they're stealing from you. And yeah, that's just what you have to do, because I mean, stealing is a very serious crime, and they must be disciplined. They must face consequences for their actions, because if they're ever going to learn, that's the only way that they're going to learn. They have to be dealt with correctly. Otherwise, if they get away with it, it just fuels their disorder even more. And then before you know it, they're running full-on scams, scamming hundreds of people. This is how their disorder grows, because then they feel invincible, they feel untouchable, they feel like they can do whatever they want. And this is why you've got to nip it in the butt as soon as you can. You've got to stop it. Don't let it continue, because it will get worse, and it will bleed into other areas with other people. It's not normal for someone to steal from you. I mean, just think to yourself, would you steal from someone? Would you take something that doesn't belong to you? I'd assume that most of you would never do that, because it's not right. And of course, it's different if you ask permission first, or if you already have the privilege or right to use it or to take it. But when it comes with stealing, taking things without a person's permission, That's a very serious crime. That's illegal. It's breaking the law. I'm just scrolling through all of the live, all of the trolls on the live chat. But don't feed into it. Don't even respond to them, because otherwise I may misread it, and I may end up hiding the wrong people. But this is what happens, you know. They create drama, they create problems, they provoke people, and then it's difficult to tell who's who. So the best thing you could do is just remain calm. Use the grey rock. Hazel Oldham says stealing is disgusting. It is disgusting. I mean, it just reveals that they feel inadequate. They feel unworthy, undeserving. That's why they don't even ask for it. If they felt like they deserve something, they might just ask you. But they steal because they feel inadequate. They feel like they're not good enough. They hate themselves. They'd much rather have a piece of you than to be themselves. But then also, on the other side of things, I mean, when you love yourself, you want to give as well. I mean, that's how I feel, you know, when I feel happy, when I'm having a good day, I want to give. I want to share parts of me. I want to share what I have. But even then, I mean, you know, there has to be limits as well. And there may be certain things that you don't want to share. God, even these, the trolls are communicating together as well. They're so unaware. It's like they're so just, they're not even connected to themselves. It's like they don't even realize that they've clicked onto my live video about narcissists. So we're already talking about people like this. I must have hidden about 50 trolls already. It's really sad, the amount of people who are so opposed to exposing the mentally ill and just focusing on mental health. So many people are opposed to that. So many people are hiding something. But this is the world that we live in. I mean, most people in the world today are dysfunctional. Most people are mentally ill. I've hidden well over 50 trolls so far. Sentinel 87 says they seem to have these pre-planned conversations with each other. Yeah, that's because they're cowards, they're afraid. So then they're seeking power and control. They need everything to go their way. And they can't be vulnerable. They can't just, they're not going to share their issues. They know they have a serious problem that cannot be discussed, that cannot be talked about. And that's why they come in straight away with the accusations, the insults, because they fear rejection. It's kind of like a way for them to avoid rejection is by them coming in and just pointing out something with you. But yeah, I mean, I'll have to get more moderators because it was like this in the last live video too. So I need more moderators to come on at different times. If you're interested in being a moderator for the live chats, just send me an email, coaching@narcsurvivor.co.uk. Because there's so many of these trolls. I think in my list of how many people are hidden on YouTube, it's got to be well over 1,000 accounts by now. There's just so many of them everywhere. So many people have problems these days. And yet at the same time, so many people are acting like they're perfect. And I think that's a big part of it, is that people are so quick to find fault with you before they even judge themselves. They're just wired incorrectly. I mean, before you judge another person, the first thing you should do is look at yourself. Look in the mirror first. And of course, that's exactly what I did before I began this channel. It's exactly what I did. Before I started making these videos, I went through a whole process. Back at the end of 2017, I was suicidal. I had to work through it. I came off the medication. I gave up alcohol for 7 years now, became a vegan. Gave up caffeine, energy drinks, coffee. Gave up video games. Started researching about narcissistic abuse for about 6 months before I made my first video. I went through an entire process to become the person that I am today. I had to check myself first, because I was watching all these videos on YouTube, and of course, after being around narcissists, recognizing traits in myself that I knew I had to correct, things that I knew I had to improve. And it took a lot of work for me to become the person that I am today, to build the character, the strength that I have. But again, the moment that you do that, the moment that you work on yourself, they will come back. And they will just want to destroy you all over again, because you're exposing them. You're making them look crazy, you're making them look unstable. And this is why they come at you with such full force. It's just really just to, it's kind of like a rugby tackle, like a scrum. They're just trying to pile on you, just put themselves onto you. It's like, here you go, just take this. This is you. And then they can feel better about themselves. And also because they fear rejection, they know they have a serious problem. They know it's unwanted attention. No one would want that around them. So then they come around you, they're trying to love bomb you, playing the victim, guilt tripping you, or just projective identification, getting you to identify with them. That's what they have to do. But what they won't do is ever look within. They'll never self-reflect. I mean, of course they wouldn't, because that's how they're able to come at you. If they were self-reflecting, they just wouldn't be anywhere near you. They come at you to put it onto you, to put the sickness that they have in you. A psychologist shows that's coming from them. They have the disease. They've got a disease that they're injecting into you. And then they just stand back and watch it play out. Because they want to be you. They want to be who you are meant to be. You're meant to be observing them and thinking that there's something seriously wrong with them. They want to be on the other end of it. They want to turn the tables on you to where they're the ones doing that with you. Because they're the ones who are already like that. They were like that already before they got around you, but you're not like that before they get around you. That's the difference. They've already got the problem. They've already got the sickness. You haven't. And that's how you've got plenty of room. You've got a container, a vessel for them to pour into, because you're not already sick. But now, trolls, I mean, this is for you. This is for the survivors, the victims. There's no reasoning with these over-emotional, delusional, narcissistic trolls. You can't get any sense from them or to them. That's the whole point of the disorder, is so that they can feel like there's nothing wrong with them. That's the whole purpose of it. And that's how they're never going to come out and say that there's something wrong with them. They will accuse you, or they will just play the victim and expect you to do more for them. If there's anything wrong with them, it's because you caused it, or it's because you need to help them, you neglected them, you have to do something about it. It's never going to be something where they have a problem and they have to sort it out for themselves. The disorder is designed to avoid all of that. And it's because it's a survival mechanism. If they ever had to recognize the flaws, the problems within themselves, many of them would just commit suicide. Or they would just be abandoned. They would just be abandoned, and they would be expected to just work on themselves. Only the strong survive. So it's kind of a survival mechanism for them, to where they just put it onto you. They bond with you over their trauma for that reason, to survive. Well, as for us as victims, I mean, I understand, I get it. Those victims who did take their own lives, I mean, because that's what they do. These narcissists bond with you over their trauma. They bring the sickness to you, to where you start to become like them. And it's almost like the victims who committed suicide, they did it for them. They took their lives, they sacrificed themselves for these narcissists. But nobody should be doing that. Nobody should be feeling or sinking into depression. Do not identify with it. Separate from it. Recognize that that's them and not you. You're full of light and positivity. And that's so many of you, you're so strong. You just keep moving forward. You just keep getting better, healing, recovering. But that's what happened to me back in 2017, is that I began to identify with their sickness, thinking that it was a part of me, because it did become a part of me. And then it's like I just kind of wanted to do it for them. I wanted to sacrifice myself. Essentially, that's what Jesus was meant to have done for us. Because so many people, they don't want to accept their own disorder, their own sickness. So, as it's meant to have gone, Jesus was meant to have sacrificed himself for everyone, for our sins. And that's really what the narcissist wants you to do for them. Not always to the point where they'll nudge you to suicide, but in some sort of way. They will want you to make a sacrifice on their behalf, on behalf of their disorder, their sickness. Which of course is something you should never do. Do not identify with it. Recognize that the real you is full of love, light, and positivity. You are nothing like them. Don't let yourself fall into it. Wish them well despite everything. Wish that they find healing. Wish that they move on. That's how you win. Doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that you've got to go back to them and feel sorry for them and try to help them. Remain distant, remain no contact, and just be compassionate from afar. Because that's who you would have been before you got around them. So remain compassionate no matter what. That's how you win. Don't let them break you. Because if that happens to us, then it's almost like we have a disorder then. If we become so full of rage, bitterness, resentment, then it's like we're disordered. But it's not so much that we're disordered, it's just we have narcissistic fleas. We can take that on from them because they just want to dump that onto you. They just don't want to be themselves anymore. They want you to be them. And they want to be you. They're tired of being themselves. They know there's something wrong with them. That's why they try to unite with you and bond with you over their trauma. That's why they do that. But they can do that as much as they want. We can't do anything about it. We can't fix them. They have to fix themselves. So all we have to do is focus on ourselves, on our own healing. We can get better. We can improve. We can grow. We can move on. And keep watching these videos. Keep educating yourself. This can be one of the best things for you. Is to listen to videos of survivors of narcissistic abuse, people who have been through it. It will validate you. It will help with the gaslighting. You've been brainwashed, indoctrinated by narcissists who want to make you think that you're the problem. So the best thing you can do is keep listening to these videos that remind you that it's not you. Because it isn't you. You were fine before you got involved with them. You were functioning, you were thriving, you were doing well. So don't let them make you think that about yourself. And also, no narcissist is going to think that about themselves anyway. It doesn't work that way. It's not like someone can just point the finger at a narcissist and just point out what's wrong with them. The narcissist is going to accept it. That's never going to happen. They're never going to accept it. They're never going to feel bad about it. They'll just point the finger back at you. That's what they'll do. So, yeah, all they're ever going to try and do is make you think that you're the one with the problem. They just come out of nowhere and just make it seem like you have some kind of problem. So they come along with a wheelbarrow full of garbage, their garbage, and they just dump it in front of your feet, And they get you to identify it. They get you to think that this is yours now. And you can try and correct it. You can clean it up for them. But then, give it a bit more time, they'll come back with another wheelbarrow full of garbage. And another one, and another one, and another one. And it's just day after day, week after week, month after month. It's like the amount of garbage you're clearing up is unbelievable. It's like it becomes like you're like a full-time caretaker by the end of it. Because it doesn't matter how much you try to do, you cannot fix their mental condition. You can't do that for them. Only they can do that for themselves. They can't just put it onto you. And by them doing that, by them dumping it onto you, it's just fueling their disorder. It's making them even worse. But this is the problem. Most of them will never get it. They will never understand that. They will never get through their thick skulls. It will never make sense to them. But that's just it. That's what they've got to understand. And yeah, I mean, there is a life full of abundance waiting on the other end of it. Of what seems like you're walking through a blazing fire. It's going to burn you. It's a light on the other end of it. A life full of abundance. Once you go through the flames. I think there's a quote that says, if you're going through hell, just keep going. And that's really it. You just got to keep going. Don't try to go back. Don't try to put someone else through your hell. That's your hell. You've got to go through it. And then eventually you will come out on the other side. And life will be much better for you. Your state of mind will be so much clearer. You feel so much more peaceful, so much more connected to the world. You just got to go through the fire. The problem is they don't want to listen because they're paranoid, they're distrustful. They're terrified, thinking that if they go through that fire, they won't get back out. Or they'll just be burning for the rest of their lives. They just don't understand it. It's like, no, all you got to do is just walk through it. Yes, it's going to burn for a short amount of time, but then for the rest of your life, it will be peace, bliss. They just don't get that. And instead, they want to put you through it. And it's like you got to sit in that fire for the rest of your life. You can't ever walk through it. You can't get to the other side. You have to sit in the middle of it. Just stay there. So that they can feel more comfortable. So yeah, I'd like to finish with that for this video. I do apologise on behalf of all of the trolls. Yes, they quite clearly do have a problem. They want to make it our problem. They come here to dump their garbage here. This is not their garbage bin. But this is where they come because they see us as a vessel, as a container, as something who can hold their trauma. Because we haven't got so much trauma. We can hold so much more. While their container is full, so they're kind of like pouring from their cup of trauma into our cup of peace, love, positivity. But it doesn't belong there. And they need to cleanse themselves, purify themselves on their own. But yeah, I apologise on behalf of the trolls. And let me know if you'd like to be a moderator on the live chats. Just send me an email, coaching@narcsurvivor.co.uk. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit subscribe and click on notifications so that you will be notified when I go live again. At this moment, there aren't any ads on any of my videos, so there's no ad revenue. But I really appreciate it if you'd like to make a donation, and I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. You can donate to my PayPal. It's paypal.me/Narc Survivor. You can also book a one-on-one by going to my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. And follow me on Instagram to see short videos and quotes of narcissistic abuse. My Instagram is Narc Survivor YouTube. All right, thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. I appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you soon.